Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the brink of an enlightening session where we will embark on an exploration of the Karbi worldview. This intricate worldview and its facets hold the keys to a deeper understanding of a remarkable culture. Leading us into this realm is Dr. Dharam Singh Terran, a distinguished writer, independent researcher, and the founder of the Center for Karbi Studies. His deep knowledge and passion for the Karbi culture will unravel the mysteries of Som with D.S. Lekte as our officiant. Ladies and gentlemen, please warmly welcome Dr. Dharam Singh Terran. Facilitating this insightful discussion are the illustrious L. Somi Roy of the Imasi Foundation, and of course Dr. Dharam Singh Terran and D.S. Lekte themselves. This session promises to open our hearts and minds to the unique perspectives and wisdom of the Karbi people. Is Mr. Somi Roy here? Oh, I think you can start without Mr. Somi. Can we please have the laptop here? We have a presentation to display.
Good afternoon. What is the time frame for me? Yes. Can I have the yeah. Okay. So time is very limited. Thank you for your patience waiting for our session. I have my friend, he is D.S. Lekte. Earlier during the day, I introduced him as our very young he is a tiger priest. So since his forefathers' days, Mr. Lekte has been propitiating the spirits of tigers. So Karbis still have this practice of feeding the tiger annually, once a year. And then they have to be very strict in the matter of where to eat, where to sleep. So his life is actually very regulated, but nowadays, of course, this is a modern time, so of course he cannot be as strict as his forefathers used to be, but okay. I will talk a little bit about what is worldview. So worldview, we all have a philosophy. Everybody as individuals, we all have certain ideas about our own life, what I want to do, or as a member of a group, of a tribe, we all have, ideas about our own, world, our relations with our surrounding. So that's basically worldview. And then, so this is, Karbi worldview is derived from their religious and cultural practices, beliefs, myths, and legends, which are able to make sense of the physical and metaphysical world that answer their existential questions about their life. About life and death. So this is just come to think of it, that being able to write is equated with being civilized in many Western notions. Therefore, non-literate people like us, we have very recently we have been acquainted with or introduced to literacy, the art of writing. But before that, we didn't have, our forefathers didn't have the advantage of expressing their ideas through alphabets and things like that. So they are condemned as societies who cannot engage in philosophy. But I have quoted from Native American scholars, Father Western philosophy, Socrates, he didn't write anything. Not a book, not a paper, not a thing, but he is regarded as the father of Western philosophy. So our forefathers, they had a lot of ideas and they did many miraculous things. They communicated with the other than human supernatural entities, which still we do. People like him, they communicate with supernatural entities, and they engage them in the healing of healing traditions. So these are basically what my actually talk encompasses. We hold, Karbi people hold space as sacred, and we have a very very important place for say. Say means word or sound or voice. So basically, all our healing practices involve say. So we basically do voice treatment. Then, as I said, we communicate with other than human or non-human or supernatural entities, which we call chekama, and spirits or of our teachers and ancestors. Then our philosophy also has something to do with balance and duality. So we observe this balance and opposites. It's not like in Karbi we call it Hi'i and Arnam. So what is Hi'i and what is Arnam? Hi'i is the other of what we call Arnam. Arnam is roughly translated into English, this is God. So what is our idea of God? Our idea of God is something which is, basically we have only one word to express that, sky. So sky is something we look up to, and then you would notice this. These days, this World Cup is going on. When some player hits a century, they always look up to the sky and then thank their gods. So it's something like that. So our idea of God is not something like the Eurocentric ideas about God. So our idea of God is something which is above, and He is the opposite of this, or just the other. It's not necessarily the Satan or devil, the missionaries and the colonial authors. They all equated our idea of the other, of the Arnam, God, as devil. So we were all classified or identified as devil worshippers. Then Parkup Panthai, this is, I'll show you later on. Parkup Panthai is the balance. One is, one is same thing like the yin and yang. Then we always go back to the roots. The ritual items that you use, everything has its origin, and then without reciting the origin, without describing the origin, we don't perform any ritual. Then again, we have the divination practices. So we still do the examination of animal entrails, which is called XTSPC, and we have ovomancy, and then we have spear divination, and then we have turmeric divination, and then there are so many different forms of divination, which is the beginning of any ritual that we perform for healing. Then sacred numbers play a very important role in Karbi worldview. Say for example, 9 is very prominent in Karbi worldview, Karbi philosophy. So our philosophy tells us that when the earth was created, the earth stood upon 9 pillars, 9 posts. They are bound together by 9 black yarns and 9 white yarns, like that. Then instead of sin, our idea about violation of certain social norms. There are a series of socially accepted violations which are not exactly sin, but we have no other terminology to explain what is care or kirtan, which is actually translated will give you something like sin. Then we have a very different idea of soul. We have more than at least 6 different types of souls. So if, say for instance, if in my dream I'm lost somewhere, or I fall off a cliff, or if I'm drowned or something like that, then you must go to a diviner and then find out. Because the loss of soul in your dream will also mean bad things happening to you physically. So there are at least 6 or 7 different types of souls. Then we have purity and profanity, that idea, and then that concept is this is not exactly the profanity or purity that we understand in Hinduism. It is completely different, and we call this entire concept under one term called thekar. So whenever we perform rituals, we always perform thekar, which is, in a sense, it's also a purification ritual. And then again, we perform a ritual when somebody, say, I was telling you about a bad dream happening to somebody, then, or sometimes you may simply feel, so much down, and then you don't feel confident enough to, carry on the daily course. Then we go to a diviner who will perform Vur Kematha. So Vur is like you're inviting positive energy to a person. And when Vur Kematha is performed, we believe that that person will gain in confidence. That person will have the energy, the inner energy. So the idea about self, the idea about energizing the inner self. So everything is under the rubric called Vur Kematha. Then again, there is this idea of lamki, malice or envy or jealousy. So this is a very complicated and very complex kind of idea, because malice, everybody has some sort of malice. Even an unknown person may feel envious of somebody, without being related in some other manner. That malice or envy may that person may have that envious thoughts, envious ideas about somebody. So this malice or envy or jealousy, somebody having this malice or envy or jealousy against somebody may create that physical unwellness in that person. So we still perform an annual ritual to rid ourselves of those negative energies, actually, which may pull you down, which may make you sick, or even which may even kill. So that's why we understand that this lamki should be, the ritual should be performed annually, so that one can get rid of this lamki. Then again, the Karbi idea of life and death, it is actually, we call it Chethe. Chethe. So the Chethe is actually the life energy, and Karbi philosophy is, wound up in some terms like Chethe It can both mean death, it can also mean life. So in this particular term, Chi Thi, big life. Thi is big, Chi is the life energy. So when a person dies, we also call the Chi of that person has gone. So it's I don't know how far this could have some relation with the Chinese idea of Chi, but we call this Chi Thi. So if somebody dies, we call that person's Chi has disappeared or have gone. So there are this idea of life and then death, afterlife and liminality. When a person dies, his soul goes back to the village of the ancestors. We don't have the idea of either heaven or hell. When we die, we go back to the village of ancestors. So during the festival, the funeral, this I was telling you about earlier during the day, the very lengthy, epic kind of narrative called Charhe. So in the Charhe actually narrates, the journey of the soul, how the dead person's soul journeys back to the ancestors' village. So that's basically the idea. And then another very expensive and very complex kind of festival is performed, which lasts for about 4 to 5 days, which we call Chomangkan. Okay, this happens to ensure that the dead person's, the soul of the deceased doesn't have to, get trapped even after death in a place called Ritlu, which is actually a liminal space. Even after death, the soul doesn't have, automatic access to the village of ancestors. So that's why we perform the ritual of very big, expensive and complex funeral festival, which we call Chomangkan, and where a lot of very lengthy oral songs describing different segments of the festival are performed, which are still being performed, and then they are part of the Karbi idea of death, afterlife, and liminality. Then finally, time. The Karbi idea of time is something like the past, present, and future, which is a very European, Eurocentric kind of idea. It is linear. There is past, this is present, and that's future. In Karbi, it doesn't happen like that. In their daily usages, we will say the same word is being used. Say, for example, mo. Mo can be something which is about to happen, and mo is something which had just happened. So the same reality is past or future and present. There is no future, like this term future is non-existent in Karbi. So we instead use mo non-fi, which is future, past and present. Actually, future, past and present are expressed in the same word. So these are some of the kind of ideas, basic ideas to understand the Karbi idea about time. So time is not like it's flowing from one direction and flowing to another direction. It's not like that. So I think, what's the time now? Am I done? Okay, I was speaking about the Karbi idea of balance. So he is the person, T.S. Lekhe is the person who performs this ritual every day, almost like every day, whenever he's called. We take 2 leaves like this, and then we toss it in the air, and then we'll see when the leaves fall, if they create this pattern. This is one is up, one is down. So this is there everywhere. Whenever we perform any ritual, you will always find this very simple ritual being performed at the beginning of the healing worship. we call it isi parkup, isi pantai. One is up, one is down, which basically tells you about the Karbi idea of balance and duality. And then I was telling you about the Karbi, the importance of number in Karbi idea, Karbi philosophy. On the right hand side, you will see rice grains, placed in different patterns. 3 above the banana leaf, and then 9 in the altar. This is a temporary mud altar. So this is exactly how it looks. The 9 is very important, and when the earth was created, 9 was there, and then when some person dies, then a person is carried by what do you call this? There are certain symbols. The 9 symbolisms is used even in when a person dies. So this is 9 is the completion of the decimal 10 system of numerology, and in Karbi 9 you will find everywhere. This is it. So I don't know how many of you might have seen this somewhere. This is Jambiliathon, and on the right hand side, what is this? This is Pimante Munai? Huh? Kopia? Amen Pimante. Okay. On the right hand side, you will see Kupimang Ong Lasofane Puban. I forgot the exact term. This is Kupimang Ase Patita. Oh, sorry. This is placenta. So there is a song which narrates the origin of the structure. You see on the left hand side. This is Jambiliathon, and there are 9 birds. The 9 symbolism is there, and in the song, the particular tree which is used to carve out this structure actually grew out of the placenta, which was buried after a boy's birth. The placenta was buried, and then from the placenta, a particular tree grew, and from the tree this Jambiliathon was created. So even this placenta is called the tree of life, and even in Karbi we call this tree of life. And then this 9 symbology is there. 1 above, 4 in the middle, and 4 again at the base. So this 9 is everywhere. These are all done. I think. Okay. Again, this is called Miring Run. It is something like it's not exactly maize, but this represents life and death. This particular object is used during the funeral festival called Chumangkan, and this signifies the Karbi idea about life and death, and it is the doorway to life and death. Okay, I'll request him to, as Madam was suggesting, that we should. So taking so the creation of earth. This is sometimes performed in verse, sometimes through oral narratives as a chant. So he'll perform it as a chant. So this happens every day, and we believe that by chanting the narrative of the creation of the earth, we energize, we empower a person. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, Dr. Drum Singh Teronson has just make me come over here and to just chant some verses of the creations of the art. So this is actually we normally performs whenever we perform this ritual, the particular ritual called Vurkamatha. Vurkamatha, Vur is actually energy. The whole actually what is the reasons behind we perform Vurkamatha, Dr. Drum Singh Teron will elaborate. So how we chant the creations to it is like that. Ahem, hem, 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 hem. Niharichu, niharichu, tegunde, retunde, podalam, podakibuna. Ahem, hem, hem. Nitur, nitang, nirem, nitai, chiklori, chor, niri, chor, pansir kep, arjus kep, kimsir kep, rapsir kep. Urmi, durmi, telang, taman, chiklori, urmi, durmi, telang, taman, bomta, bomti, bomkru, podalam, podakibuna, yo, pada, bani. Suryalam kalide, parwalam kalide, ariyalam kalide, ariyalam kalide. Pada tante, pada pani tante, pinia jo tante, pithe kima sab, mintari kima sab, sabik tum nangji, pung thoning ji, busa yo bang kethe, tum bang kethe, tum bang kethe, tum bang kethe, tum. Lasi sabik tum jede, pung tum jede, ne pani tin dona, ne bodona, bakidona, pakhandona, delang pithe kima sab, pithe kisa, pithe cho, nang pithe kima sab, mintari kima sab, samning tum bo, pung ning tum tho, la lam la kilade, hem, marna. Non tanang nipi. Non tanang nepo, de pini ajo, pidhe ki masa, mindar ki masa, sab ne ing thumji, pong ne ing thumji, ki plang asap tangte, ki pi asap tangte, pidhe ki masa, mindar ki masa, la arni si ajo, pidhe athak tangte, pidhe atnang tangte. Pidhe le ka vede, mindar le ka vede, niyang plin wang keto, nijang plin wang keto, anta lo saide, anta man saide, kupu ke mejima, kupu ke jogjima, pidheri cholisi, lale matha wepa, lale jadi voitha, ananam pharo, la ani pharo, lale wang tha kipu, lale wang non kipu. Mai le do sinang, le thai le do sinang, jing wai le do sinang, jing sai le do sinang. La se bang nam pharo atum, ani pharo atum, la le ke wang loke, la le ki ju loke, la le mai nang do loke, la thai nang do loke, la le jing wai loke, la le jing sai loke. O anam pharo, o ani pharo, bini ani tangte. La mai ke pha tangte, thai ke pha tangte, dak pithe atha, dak mindar atha, pithe le ka vede, mindar le ka vede, pithe le kim sinang, mindar le kim sinang, kupu ke mejima, kupu ke chogjima, anam pharo pude, ani pharo pude, o pithe richo, ni tum ke kim thek the, ni tum ke rang thek the, pithe ke kim abang. Mindar ke rang abang, mukrang sar po dolo, mukrang sar pi dolo, mukrang sar po hang non, mukrang sar pi hang non, pitheri cholisi, mukrang sar po ke pha, mukrang sar pi ke pha, mukrang sar po ke wang, mukrang sar pi ke wang, kupi alam loma, kupi aki loma, o pitheri cho, anani ningke, anajo ningke, wang tha ki bu ave. Wang non ki pu ave, pitheri cho pude, pithe athak tangte, mindar athak tangte, pithe le ka vede, mindar le ka vede, pithe kim nangji, mindar kim nangji, ki kim hem pu ke nang, ki rang hem pu ke nang, ki kim ke nang lo de, ki rang ke lang lo de, bang asai jobje, bang asai long le, mukrang sar polisi, mukrang sar pilisi, nihang keng det ke dam, nijang keng det ke dam. Ale nujok le kiri dam, nujam le kiri dam, nujok sir keb ridam, nujam sir keb ridam, arpan sir keb ridam, arjon sir keb ridam, nujok sir keb long lo, nujam sir keb long lo, arpan sir keb long lo, arjon sir keb long lo, kima long ke wang, Raga long kevang, to say he leak to nang, Rub he leak to nang, said he leak nang tu, Rub he leak nang tu, and leki rang loke, and leki kim loke, and ning way nang kim, adable nang ruham, adable nang kim, and ning way ruham, Kupuke mejima, Kupuke chokjina, Kikim get hill head, Kirang get hill head, Kikim get in head, Kirang get in head, Puteri chopude, Lana lam tante. Lana ki tante, tak ik nang ji itum, tak lok nang ji itum, tak ik le hang dam tha, tak lok le hang tha, chu ik le hang dam tha, chu lok le hang dam tha, huk bar SRP, suk bar SRP, tak ik la hempu, tak lok la hempu, chu ik la hempu, chu lok le hempu, anam par holisi, ani par holisi, mukrang sar polisi, jakrang sar polisi, le ke dam loke, le ke ju loke, adim ke le penle, aklong ke le penle. Hukbar SRP, Sukbar SRP, Lalenang Rom to that, Lalenang back to that, Kupia Lam Loma, Kupia Kiloma, Kupiki Vang Mati, Kupiki Ju Mati, Kupia Lam Kali, Kupiki Ju Kali, Bang Putericho, Bang Putericho, Bang Puteke Kim, Bang Minda Kim, Taiga Vedet, Tagloga Vedet, Aning Velang Kim, Adab Nang Ruham, Adab Lenang Kim, Aning Riruham, Kupuge Mejima, Kupuge Jokjima, Taig Nang Gisivang, Taglog Nang Gisivang. Lana lam tante, lana ki tante, rong do kok tik, rong sang kok tik, ale rong do loke, rong sang kok loke, jing lu jopani, jing thi jopani, le apun ke megang wai, achak ke megang wai, le nihang pur kri, nijang pur kri, apun ke me long lo, achak ke me long lo, taik jeng sir kep, tak lok jeng sir kep, chuik jeng sir kep, chu lok jeng sir kep, ke ki ma long wan lo, kirang along wan lo, ke taik hever kling, tak lok hever kling, taik hever klak. Taglo hever klak, ke kim ke thirlo, ke ram ke thirlo, tola ke melo, tola ke choglo, anang pharo lisi, ani pharo lisi, la lenang rong sudet, la lenang bak sudet, o puthericho, kupu ke mejima, kupu ke chogjima. Ange kim kimi, anke rak kimi, ange kim ursoi, anke rang ursoi, urmi avedele, turmi avedele, la ana lam tante, la ana ki tante, tosor joricho, tosor juricho, o tipiniatum, thing biniatum, ni hang boy pakabang, ni jang boy pakabang, serpin vengti tha, rupin vengti tha. Pinwe di choji tha, juve di choji tha, la le nang tip loke, la le nang theng loke, ke tip peneng tang tip, ke theng peneng tang pip, vengong che pang dang, vengong che pang dang, che the bang nang thap, bong me bang nang thap, ni hang keng det ke dam, ni jang keng det ke dam, urmi kiri dam, durmi kiri dam, serta lo parai, rupta lo parai, serpin tong athak, rupin tong athak, urmi kiri dam lo, durmi kiri dam lo, pinu parai ko, ponu parai ko, biwen nang hiru, bitung le nang hiru, le biwen nang hanang bar, bitung nang hanang bar, urmi ke thekam lo, durmi ke thek dam lo, ki malong kevang, rak along kevan, oputericho, urmi ke thekam lo, durmi ke thekam lo, tola ke melo, tola ke choklo, urmi wanji kumat, durmi wanji kumat, urmi wanji tangte, durmi wanji tangte, sing bahar de lo, long bahar de lo, nang sing bahar lesi, long bahar lesi, bang asai jokje, bang asai lo le, urmi ke endam, durmi ke endam. It may take more than an hour if I have to recite the full version. So, since we are running out of time, I guess I have to stop here. So thank you so much, Dharam Singh, Dharam sir. He is actually one of my idol, my mentor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Impressive. Thank you. I actually love the topic, worldview, and I think that it is probably an essential character of any culture or any civilization to have a particular worldview. And now, of course, we have social media, we have intercontinental flights, trains, so we're more connected than ever. But the particular, since we have Gilvan here and Tassem, the Weltanschauung of every culture is unique. Every culture is the center of its own universe. And it is from there that we spread. And for that reason, many religions don't even have a name, right? Because they never have to explain to someone what religion they are until they meet someone from another religion. So until then, for that reason, many ancient cultures do not have a name for their belief system. It's just God. In fact, many people don't even have a name for themselves in the days of great insularity and isolation, because they never meet anyone who does not know who they are. It's only when you meet a foreigner that he says, well, I'm German, what are you? And then you have to scratch your head and say, like, what am I? In the same way, if you meet a Christian or a Muslim, they say, like, I'm a Muslim, what is your religion? Then you have to figure out what to call yourself. So that unique worldview that is particular to the Karbi Anglong is also particular to the Ao Nagas. It's also particular, not to Nagaland, but it's really more of an anthropological, sociological thing. So one of the things that the listener is trying to do, and it is a growing idea, it's an evolving idea, and we can talk more about this in the session coming up, is to look at the various worldviews, particular to every state. Not every state, sorry, to every culture or every tribe. And so when that gets eroded, as you're the first Karbi gentleman I've ever met, much less listened to. You're the second person after him, right? So, I mean, I was struck this morning, earlier, when you said, this is the first time you've been invited across, just over the border. In fact, we are the next door neighbor to Sentila, right? And to not have been invited to give your talk, it's so common. I mean, the region has particularities that have similarities, but how often do we really actually talk to each other? Last time I had a friend from Assam who had translated, a Manipuri guy had translated his book in English by an Assamese author into Manipuri. And I like that very much. So the worldviews that we have for each other are unique, number one. Number two, with more communication, it's eroding, it's changing. And number three, maybe this is not a good question, but is it a good thing or a bad thing that we are losing our worldview is changing? And I think that's something that we can put it out to the people in the auditorium, right? So does anyone have a question or a comment to make? Anyone? Is there something that you would like to add to what I just said?
Thank you so much. Yes, because to retain, our forefathers' worldview, this is a challenge. It's becoming more and more, bigger and bigger. The challenge is becoming bigger and bigger because of so many factors. We adopt different worldviews. Say, for example, my name is a completely Hinduized kind of name, but I'm not a Hindu. Or even D.S. Lekthe. Somehow, this gives you an indication how much, to what level our worldviews, the communities of smaller, people, smaller tribes, they are always, prone to change their views, change their worldviews, which is very unfortunate. Once we lose our worldviews, everything changes, because the whole day we have been talking about this, how it has become an increasing challenge for everyone here in the Northeast. So many languages are dying, and so many languages are on the verge of death. And then once these languages disappear, a lot about the information on diversity of ideas, worldviews will automatically die out. They will simply vanish, and the diversity, like the kind of flower garden that we wish to see, different colors, different flowers. So everything will be, only one color. So that shouldn't happen. So that's basically the idea.
I wanted to grab the microphone because I love that analogy of the flowers. But what I use in conversation is that every language is a window. It looks upon one aspect of reality outside from one viewpoint. So your Karbi Anglong view, worldview, we're living in the same house, the same planet, right? But the reality we look at is from different angles. So I do some translation work, and I find that there are certain words that cannot be translated, which means that language is a particular way of thinking. There's a word in Japanese for all the books that you have by your bedside that you want to and you plan to read but you never read. I'm sure you have, how many books do you have by your bedside that you have not read yet? But you're thinking, okay, tomorrow I'll start and I'll finish this next month and all that. You too, right? There's so many unread books. The Japanese have a word for it. One word. They have a word for getting fat after you get married. It's called happy fat. Right? You don't have to work out anymore. You don't have to go to the gym, to go to the nightclub to meet potential partners, right? And so once you get married, you start to spread out. And they call it happy fat. So there are many ways of looking at the world, and that's why I don't think we should lose those. We should not lose the language, which is the window, and we should not lose the worldview. At the same time, Dr. Tehran, is there such a thing as progress? Is there such a thing as advancement that you think is it desirable? Is it unavoidable? What do we do with the notion of progress? This morning, we had this thing about this Naga shawl that cannot be worn by women. There's a good reason for it, right? And I just came from, I'm sorry I'm late, I was up in the workshop, and one of the experts up there said, you can change things, but it must be with sympathy to the past. You must sympathize with the past. You must respect it, therefore, if you have sympathy. So, what do you think about progress, change, women's equality, scientific thinking? Are these good things? And what happens when it clashes with your worldview? Oh, sorry.
Please ask that question. That's also interesting. And after that, I will ask.
I was talking about liminality, life and death. Actually, I was using some metaphors and also some, ritual items that we use in Karbi religious festivals. So what do they actually tell us? I mean, when we talk about change means, certain things will disappear, and new things will come, but not at the cost of completely doing away with, our past. Our past will always be there, and then the past, in fact, doesn't go. The past is in the present. So in our practice, in our daily practice, we don't actually take note of these changes or these practical things, these practicalities. But they're happening with us every moment that we are alive. And these are this didn't matter to us at all, because we have been, looking at these every now and then. So as if they're, simple things. But these are actually telling us in so many different ways. You can take it philosophically, or you can just take it as, just a kind of symbol. So we live by them all the time. Thank you.
To summarize
Doctor,
that,
yeah.
there's an author, science fiction writer called Neil Stephenson, who said, religion is not for stupid people.
Dr. Dharam, what you were just saying a short while ago about even my name is Hindu, like it's not my name. So how did you come by Dharam? And also I know Indrajits, I know Sanjays, and I know, so how did that Hindu names come into the worldview of the Karbi?
Now, many youngsters, even my son, he has a very traditional Karbi name. And like that, because the name is an identity. I'm known by a particular name, and that's my identity. And then you don't want to, identify yourself as somebody else. Now, because I have, come across many instances like that. They call out my name, and then simply Dharam Singh. So I was once summoned in police station in Oslo. They wanted to see my face. No, he is not only Singh, but beyond Singh, there is one more tribal name, which is Teron. But they insisted that, no, we want to see him because that was, Khalistan time. They wanted to see me, and I had to go to the police station and present myself before the police officer. And then when he saw me, he smiled. And I said, oh, it's okay, now I understand. So, it's identity, basically.
Just one last thing. My name is Laipangbam Somi Roy. I always have to explain this. Laipangbam is Meitei Long, Somi is Tangkhul Naga, Roy is Bengali. How did all this happen? And one time I was at Manipur University, and I was looking at the grades of all the students that had passed the exam. All the names are different. Some people had Western names like Romeo. Other people had, and half of them, all the men are Singhs. Meiteis, all are all Singhs, right? And then some people drop that and put in Meitei there is no systematic way of naming people. Okay, so what's in a name? Everything is in a name. Thank you very much.
Thank you.